So at the keynote address at Pro Tour London, we got a whole bunch of stuff thrown at us. Basically, the product roadmap through middle to late summer, armory decks, new sets, looking at everything, Mastery Pack Guardian, tons of new stuff. Now, if I've done my job, we've already had a cast talking about a lot of that stuff in detail, but today I want to focus in on one thing specifically for the commoner format, which is Bravo Flattering Showman, who will be headlining the new intro deck, which will basically be replacing what many of us knew as the Ira Welcome deck. So this will be available this summer, but hey, look at this new hero. This might be Commoner's STARVO. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to the channel for another installment of Dice Commando. That's right, coming to you midweek most weeks, talking commoner format and everything fun around that. Now, today specifically, Bravo Flattering Showman. So, as I mentioned in the intro, this is introduced that it will be coming this summer to your LGS as a backfill or not really a backfill, a replacement for the Ira Welcome decks of old, right? This is your intro deck. You go into the store, you can get it for free. Super cool. Like, it's how Fab got started. It was very successful. Really looking forward to that as a product for onboarding. And the hero for this one, we're going back to Bravo. So this is Bravo Flattering Showman. You can see down there, it is very relevant. That is not a down in the corner, right? From a rarity standpoint, that's not a P, that's not a green P, that is a blue R. Okay, so very, very, very relevant. Now, action for 2 and then exhaust, or tap, I think is what we're actually calling it. Turn a face down card in your arsenal face up. If it has crush, it gets +2 and dominate this turn. Go again. So obviously that's the joke around, and joke? the statement, whatever it may be, about STARVO, right? That looks very, in terms of the bonus and the thing, right? That's very STARVO-esque. Now, obviously you don't have access to the same card pool at multiple levels, but my point is he's not, elemental. You don't have to do the fuse thing. Bravo can just do this as long as it's in your arsenal. Now, I think this is very, very strong in commoner format and will probably shake up quite a bit. Like, quite a bit. So let's just kind of zoom ahead on this one and let's go look at as of today. And again, remember this is coming this summer when Guardian Pack Mastery is coming out. It's a relatively safe assumption that we've already seen there's going to be more crushes. It's a relatively safe assumption there will be some crushes that are common. So no, I am not going down that path. We're looking at just what we have today at a minimum, which is a pretty good suite of cards. So I have them up right now, so there's 6 of them. Well, there are more than that actually, but what I'm looking at specifically are the 3s and 4s. And the reason I'm looking at the 3s and 4s, right, is so that obviously you can do this with his ability off of 2 cards. Right, ideally 2 blues or whatever it may be. It'll also be very interesting to see if his weapon is a Nothos or not. I'm betting maybe. Or maybe new version. We will see. Yeah, so let's just hope it's not another pitch 3, swing 4 weapon type of deal. Okay. So Buckling Blow, this is the one that you put a -1 counter on. Now this one is not super prevalent in commoner, just because there's not that much. Most of the equipment's 1. And yes, you have the new, you do have the new Blade Beckoner series. I get it. But in general, they're just going to throw, like if they know they're going to take the crush, they'll just throw, and you have an armor out that would take a -1, you would really just defend with it. Right. So this one's not super prevalent. But again, you're looking at 4 that can then come in for 10 dominate off of 2 blues. So all of a sudden that becomes very, very relevant. And sure, the effect may not be, but it pushes damage in a 20 health, like pretty mathematical driven format. Really good. Cartilage Crush, I really like this one. Yes, it's the 3 for 7, meaning you're, not super ideal off of, right, you don't have plating or anything to pitch to, right? So it's a little inefficient, but, does give you some room for yellows or stuff like that. But this is essentially a frostbite for them, right? So if this deals 4 or more damage, the first action during the next turn costs 1 more, functionally a frostbite. Kind of, right? We then have Chokeslam. This is a big deal, right? So Chokeslam's a 4, so it's going to come in for your 10 dominate. If it deals 4 or more damage, cards they control can't gain attack during the next action phase. That's very relevant for some certain heroes. Very, very relevant for some certain heroes. Crush Confidence is the ability to turn off a hero, so that's a 3 for 7, and if it crushes, then they lose all hero abilities, which is pretty cool. We're going to skip ahead to Debilitate. Debilitate's a 4, meaning it would come in for 10. And if it hits, you basically make another, if it crushes, I should say, you make another 2 back because their next attack would be -2. And maybe not if, like, again, if they come in for Kadachi or something like that, sure, you get it. But functionally, you understand what I mean. Now, the one I want to finish with is Crush the Weak. This one is gross. So if this one were to come in for just at a basic level, right, 3 for 9 on Dominate, if they can't get over the crush effect, this shuts some heroes down. And the irony of the heroes that it shuts down is most of them, with, you know, the assassins being the kind of exception to the rule there, but most of them aren't super good defenders, right? So it's gonna, and I think it's going to be, I mean, I think there's ways to combat this, but you basically have to ensure that you always have D-reacts. Like, playing against him, I know, so I'll take the cards away, right? Playing against him, you almost have to take the first hit so that you, I mean, depending on turn order, obviously, right? But you almost have to take the first hit so that you can put a D-react in your arsenal, right? Because say you have a D-react in hand and they do the Dominate thing. If you use that D-react, yes, you can get to 4. It's not going to really shut anything off anyway. Maybe throw some armor at it. But it would be better for you to defend with a 3, take the penalty, and then tuck the D-react for next time, right? In my opinion. Again, in a vacuum, right? With saying imaginary hero you're playing against. I think that's one of the plays here. But this guy's like really strong in Commoner. It's obviously too early without having seen all the sets and stuff like that to say that he's going to be the best hero. I think that's a big statement, especially when you have, you know, Enigmas and stuff like that out there. Although it'll be hard for Enigma to keep, maybe it will be hard for them to keep words on the board. I don't know. Traditionally, Guardians don't do super great into Illusionists, but the Commoner Enigma is a different kind of board state. So if you can prevent them, but they still have prevention like Oasis and stuff like that. Oasis, Peace of Mind. There's ways. So, and they play a lot of D-reacts. Like they could theory play a D-react and then still Arsenal one, to kind of my point earlier. So we'll have to see how he does against that. But man, against a lot of other heroes, this is looking pretty freaking strong. Now, one thing I do want to address is, someone out there is probably thinking, well, we don't know that this will be common or legal yet. That is technically true, and I agree, but I don't see this not being. Because just think about it functionally. Yes, we don't know what products it will be in or won't be in. The deck does say it will have an SKU, will have a SKU, right? So that makes it a quote-unquote product. So in of itself might be legal, but if you do remember, the Ira Welcome deck actually wasn't legal until they reprinted it in Crew. So we'll have to see functionally how they do this. So it is, in theory, possible that he won't be playable as the Welcome deck hero, but I can't imagine him not being printed in the name is escaping me right now, but the product, the Pit Fight product that they're coming out with. Smash Palace. Jeez. He's on it, right? So I think he's going to be in that, which should make him legal, because remember, the only reason that like the Professor and Melody weren't legal in Commoner is because they were M's. They're still legal in Blitz and everything, right? So if he's in any of those other products, regardless of how they approach Welcome deck, he would be legal. And then again, to my point of, yes, you're right, we don't technically know yet how it's all going to play out, but again, there's no part of me that doesn't think that he'll be legal, because why would they want to give away free cards that you couldn't use? Remembering that in the olden days with the Iris situation, they didn't have a commoner format pathway, right? So now that we have it, it seems very silly to me to not do that. So I'm confident that, maybe there's slightly delays with, well, this was released at Gen Con or whatever. Maybe there's slightly delays on things, but like functionally long-term, he's going to be legal commoner. So I know that was like 2 to 3 minutes of getting there, but again, I zero question in my mind, this will be commoner legal. So when that happens, I think there's a big impact to the commoner format, because this guy seems really good. And then, I mean, you know, there's Blitz implications and stuff like that. We can talk later. I don't want to go too down the Blitz path, because it does finally seem that we might be at the poop or get off the pot thing for changes on Blitz. But maybe I'm reading too much into the tea leaves on that one. So we'll kick that one down the road. But from a Blitz format, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong below. Do you think this guy's not like crazy insanely good in commoner? Seems to me he will be. But maybe I'm also just super biased because I like the pump thump type thing. Remember, this doesn't work. This does not work, by the way, on non-crush. Only works on crush. So no, your thumps don't get it. But you still have Goliath gauntlets and you still have all the things. This guy seems pretty freaking good. And you still do might tokens on top of it? Oh my god. So good. So good. Anyway, tell me if I'm wrong. But wanted to talk about it, get some exciting stuff out, and get the theory crafting rolling already. Because it's not going to be that long until this summer. It's only, what, 2 and change months away. It seems like a long time, but, you know, it's only like 10, 11 weeks. So it'll be here before you know it. And it's only like 2 or 3 crawls, too. So, hey, maybe coming at you with deck lists in the August crawl. Probably that's very realistic. So anyway, folks, that'll do it for me. Let me know what you think. Nothing else. Go Commando.